Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fight for Liberty New Year's special. We have a drinking game to play tonight. We have a whole bunch of guests that are going to be in and out. So, first things first, I will explain the rules of the drinking game for those of you watching, and I will put it in the comment section as well. You drink anytime someone unprompted brings up guns, drugs, taxes, or guillotining or wood chipping some politicians. So that is the game. We're probably going to get plastered within the first 10 or 15 minutes. But we have one guest already here sitting in the green room. If this wasn't COVID times and we were actually with each other in human person, Noah Willett, he is the best recruit I have ever made on any campaign in the history of my political career. So please welcome him. Noah, thanks for coming on.
Hey, how you doing, David?
Party. I am
I
doing
appreciate
great.
the introduction a lot. Thank you.
Dude, you are literally even you can ask Vince. We've talked about this more than once. Like, you are the best, like, you're the most valuable cigarette I have ever given away to anyone.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I enjoyed joining the campaign as well, so thank you for that opportunity.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was fate. It really was. If Devin or Adeline joined later, or if anyone watching has seen my episode with Devin, they know the story of how you and I met. And that we
I
were
didn't
already
know you
supposed
did
to
an
meet.
episode with Devin, and you haven't done an episode with me yet, man?
Not yet. Well, I did. I just recorded the one with Devin for the Christmas special. It was fairly recently.
Nice.
But it was a good time. We talked about what it feels like to be political mercenaries who kind of just work in politics for the dollars sometimes.
That's a good way to describe your guys' line of work. I just feed the masses, man.
There you go.
So, what do we want to start with tonight is the real question. There's a lot going on, man. There's a lot that happened this year.
There is, but first, I think my question for you is, what substances will you be ingesting tonight, whether that be marijuana or alcohol?
Twisted tea and
Twisted tea.
Jose Cuervo as well. So
nice. Are you mixing those two together, or are you doing them separately?
Oh yeah, dude, I love tequila, man. It's my favorite fucking liquor of choice.
Nice.
Yeah. I might smoke a little weed later on. We'll see how I'm feeling.
All right, there we go. And we have our second guest joining us.
Oh, is that Devin?
Not yet. No, Devin's watching, actually, I see in the comments. But we have the chairman of the Brooklyn Libertarian Party and also a good friend, Mr. Matthew Morgan. Hello, sir.
How you doing, man?
What's going on, guys?
How are you?
Got the wild tea going. It's so crazy that went so, but like so many people like felt that video.
I saw a great one of Mitch McConnell today. It was you ever watch SpongeBob?
Yeah.
So you know that scene where they beat up the old dude?
Yeah.
So they took out the old dude's face. Yeah, they took out the old dude's face. They put Mitch McConnell's face in. They were all holding twisted teas. That was fucking awesome, dude.
It's just I was literally on a campaign call last night where someone said, "Grant me the ocean spray to accept the things I cannot change, and the twisted tea to change the things that I can."
Oh fuck yeah!
This is a campaign manager for a citywide campaign in 21.
Yeah. I like it.
It's like there's hundreds of fight videos that get posted online every day. I see some, but that one just resonated with people for some reason. I don't know if it was the fact that he used I think it was it had to be the twisted tea. That was for sure. Was like really
right now.
People were impressed by.
All right, and we have our fourth guest joining us, former presidential candidate on the Libertarian in the Libertarian primary, Mr. Sam Robb. Hello, sir.
Oh, hello.
Welcome back.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to be back. And hey, happy birthday. I didn't even realize it was your birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. 2 days ago, I turned 24 years old. And I spent my birthday tripping mushrooms at a casino with my parents and then going to Denny's. So I consider that a successful evening.
Did you win any money, or did you think you did?
No, he lost it all. No way he didn't win it.
So actually, I did not spend. So my mom actually gave me $60 to spend, like for my birthday. You know, they were taking me there, and I've been doing charity work and campaign work, so I'm pretty broke right now. But the casino also gave me $20 of free play, $10 for it being my birthday, and $10 for it being my first time there. And I only used that $20. I won like $5 out of that, spent the whole 20, got $5 back, took that, spent like 3 of it at another casino and lost all of that and just didn't touch the rest and just kind of was enjoying the lights and watching my parents gamble and just the ambiance of the situation. I didn't need to spend money. And then I went and spent that money on weed that I'm smoking right now. So it all worked.
That must have been fucking amazing, like being on shrooms and that type of like high, like lights.
It was a good time. It was a good time. It was a fairly small amount of mushrooms. It was only 1 gram. So, you know, it wasn't anything like super crazy. I wasn't seeing anything. And I was also, you know, with my parents and around a lot of people. So I was trying to behave. So I was kind of like keeping the visuals down a little bit. But it was a good time. And it was Turning Stone Casino, which if any of you have been to upstate New York, it's like the biggest casino there, and they're so all about the aesthetics of everything, and so there's so many lights and so many people and like slot machines literally in every fucking corner that they could fit slot machines into. So it was included. Not in the bathroom, but in the
taking
hallway.
A piss at the urinal in the little one.
I'm surprised they didn't do that. I'm not kidding you, because I walked.
In like sports places where they do sport betting, you can literally bet at the urinals, man.
Yes.
It's wild.
So, Mr. Robb, are you? I'm assuming you're not partaking in any of the liquors or the anything like that tonight, given how your day went.
I don't know. He's got a coffee mug, man. He might.
And the coffee mug is full of water. I had my gallbladder out earlier today, so I am actually. I've got what is this? I don't even know what this is. I just started taking it. They told me to oxycodone.
Ooh.
So here we go. My legally prescribed 100% government approved narcotics.
There we go.
Highly addictive.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, that sounds better than anything I'm gonna be doing tonight. So
no, I think I would gladly trade places. Like you said, highly addictive. I've been avoiding it. The only reason I took one is because I have a feeling I'm going to need it in order to sleep tonight. But other than that, I'm doing okay. I'm standing up. So
the best drug for the FDA approved ones.
You know, it's ridiculous how quickly they prescribe those. I mean, I understand the need for it.
There's a drinking game going on, and we started talking about drugs.
All right.
So everyone must drink. That's drinking.
in spirit. I'll catch up later.
I just have Mountain Dew, so.
But, you know, being from New Hampshire, you see a lot of the impact of this heroin epidemic that's been going on. And it's really unfortunate that the government wants us to take drugs that are highly addictive and cause a whole epidemic of people overdosing in the streets. Meanwhile, something like weed, where it doesn't harm you, is not allowed because they can't tax all of it. Jesus.
I mean, they're trying to figure out how to tax it.
I can't believe how many people are upset with like they're like so many libertarians are like, yeah, it's like legal, but like we don't want it taxed at all. It's like you got to give a little. You got to give a little, guys.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but taxes in and of themselves are, in my opinion, federal taxes anyways are theft. State taxes I can understand, but federal taxes, they don't benefit us. They never end
Right.
up benefiting us, and we're paying for all this special interest crap. And like the bill they passed, they shoved a ridiculous amount of money in different places that wasn't related to the COVID bill at all. And they hid it in a 5,000 page document and didn't give anybody enough time to read that.
So brazen, such brazen theft.
Travesty, right?
For the record, drinking game. We're talking about taxes. So I knew this was
get you
going
guys
to be.
to catch up, man, because I was going to give you a little bit for this.
All right, if you're watching, keep us honest in the comments. If we miss a trigger to drink, please keep us honest.
Hey, though, I
How is
think
it that you guys? This is a libertarian drinking game. You're drinking when you mention drugs or taxes. How is it that any of you are still standing?
Well, to be fair, we just started 13 minutes ago.
Oh, okay, don't make me laugh. That hurts.
Oh man. Hey, can we add something to this drinking game though?
I'm always open for new ideas.
All right, let's add stimulus to one of those buzz topics. I think.
Okay. All right.
That
So
would be a great one.
we have guns, drugs, taxes, guillotines or wood chippers, and the stimulus checks.
Hell yeah.
And I'm gonna trigger it on purpose right now because I still haven't gotten my stimulus check, and most of my friends have.
I just got it today, man. Hell yeah.
I haven't even checked.
I've been checking like every second because as soon as it clears, I'm buying a ticket to New York. So I'm like anxiously waiting because I really want to be back in New York City as soon as humanly possible.
How do you guys feel about taking this money? Like, I don't know.
Money.
I bet some
It's
It's my
libertarians
money and I need it
there-
now.
Well,
Yeah, it's my money and they're just giving it back.
Yeah.
How would I feel bad about that?
Mr. Devin, hello, sir.
What's up, guys? Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year.
Devin,
Happy
Happy
New
New Year's.
What's going on?
Are you working
Good.
and live streaming simultaneously?
I surely am. I just dropped off a pizza.
They give you a good tip at least. I
Dropped off a
mean,
pizza. You guys are about to have to drink because I'm about to mention drugs.
I know I'm gonna
just went to
drop
I
down and
just
go
went
get
to
my
a
drink then.
hotel, drop off a bunch of pizzas, and I got $2 tip on a $70 order, so that sucks. But there was like 3 cops in the lobby as these 2 guys carried in what I am sure by the smell was like duffel bags full of pot.
Nice.
Getting ready.
Luckily in the
Drink.
land of Massachusetts, where you can't live as free as New Hampshire, but you can live free in certain ways that you can't in New Hampshire, I suppose.
Hey, man, we got constitutional carries, so,
I know. I miss
Little
living
bit
in New
freer.
Hampshire. Hopefully soon I'll be back.
I can't wait, dude. But,
Yeah, Matt's catching up. All right.
Missed a few.
I mean, I'd love
Bud
to partake, but
Light,
the whole driving
The Fight for
thing.
Liberty channel does not suggest drinking and driving. The rest of the people who will be joining tonight are home for the evening, so
Yeah.
no drinking and driving tonight, people. Don't die, please.
We're not
We
that
need
hardcore.
libertarians to survive and procreate.
I noticed Vince is MIA.
Yes, Vince and Reed are both going to be probably joining a little bit later. And then there's a couple other people that might be popping in for a little bit. We will. It's New Year's Eve, so honestly, I was setting expectations as you can come for a little bit or the whole time or however, because it's basically a party. Pop in, say hi, leave. I don't care. We're going strong. We're going to be drinking a whole bunch. We're going to be ringing in the new year together in not very long. Especially without Reed here, we're all on Eastern Standard Time, so 13 minutes till New Year's, guys.
Hell yeah. So, Sam, you ran for Libertarian candidate for president? Is that
Yes,
correct?
I did. Yes, I did.
How was that experience? I'm pretty curious what it's like being an actual presidential candidate and hitting the road like that.
It was well, I imagine for some people it's a really incredible, life affirming experience. For me, it was incredibly humbling because most of the time I'd show up and people would be like, "Oh, who?" And so
Man.
it was definitely an uphill climb, but it was worth it. It really was worth it. It was exciting. My wife and I were just we had dinner with some friends last night. We were talking about it, and got to meet a ton of really wonderful people. Go to a lot of great places. Libertarians in person are just absolutely amazing. The ones you meet on the internet, some of them are really great. But they're also the great ones in real life. So you might as well meet them in real life and be able to enjoy that.
Definitely agree. What do you think is the best path forward for the Libertarian Party?
Well, I am.
Sorry, you can talk.
No, I've kind of I guess you'd say committed to a more pragmatic approach. I accepted the nomination to take over the remaining term for the Western Pennsylvania vice chair here in Libertarian Party of Pennsylvania. So I'm focusing on building the party in our various counties and reaching out and starting to get in touch with people who want to run for local and county level offices. So get libertarians elected, get people used to pulling the lever for a libertarian, get them hopefully to the point where they start thinking that in some of these counties that the two-party system is libertarians versus Republicans, or libertarians versus Democrats, and see where we can go from there.
Sure. I like it. After this election, I was really thinking that every year every presidential election, the Libertarians always try to go for the top office, which is great. It's nice to see a third option on the ballot for the presidential election. But what I feel is missing is all those lower spots on the ballot. There are a lot of blank spots where there could be libertarian names for, congressmen, congresswomen, senators, state representatives. I feel like that's really where it would be beneficial to start from. Is from the ground up versus top down.
Unfortunately, one of the things that I learned during this run and during Joe's and Spike's campaign is you can't do that, and it really kind of stinks. But there are too many states where, for example, just being able to say that you're a libertarian and that you want to run as a libertarian depends on how well your presidential candidate does. You don't achieve minor party status. You don't get ballot access unless your presidential candidate gets 1% or 1.5% of the vote or whatever it is.
So it's a lack of ballot access.
Yeah, it's a catch-22. You have to run these guys, but I think Joe and Spike understood that. I think they really ran hard. They ran as good a campaign as they could with a focus on winning, but they also very readily acknowledged that yes, there are certain states where we could be running a ham sandwich and they would be behind us because they need us for ballot access. They put a lot of effort into those states. They put a lot of effort into growing the party and building the party. So I think that's one positive aspect you get of a presidential campaign. And then hopefully you inspire people to say, yes, I want to run for. How do I run for mayor? How do I run for state council or whatever?
Because I think that's where we could really grow. You know what I mean? Like if if we start taking these lower offices, right, then a libertarian wouldn't just be a fringe group, it would be a household name. And with like voting records and policy records backing what we're trying to do and showing how it could be a beneficial thing for society on a small scale, I think it's easier for people to see it on a large scale.
Yeah.
But I do understand the ballot access point that you make, because, you know, we need to have access to the ballots first before we can.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
And
I just want to
it's
give a
certainly got
shout
people
out
to do
real
both.
quick, because someone who is watching is also doing the editing for our episode, Sam, and is saying that she is loving listening to it because she has to mess with the audio. Apparently, my microphone wasn't working very well, and she just texted me and said, "I'm loving listening to Sam." And so that was a great episode, and I think that you really, like I said during it, you kind of embody this libertarian philosophy pretty well, of just kind of pushing this forward and bringing people in without forcing them into it, without some kind of alternate agenda. And I think that's what we really need in the LP. And, you ran this past year. Matt, who's in here, is running next year for New York City Council.
yeah.
Good luck, man.
Which is going to be awesome. 2021, literally everyone in New York City politics gets replaced or is up for re-election in 2021. So it's going to be a very, very interesting year. So we'll see what happens there. I think 13 or 14 city councilmen out of 52 are term limited, and about another 15 or 16 are term limited in the next cycle, which is 23. So it's going to be a fun time.
It's going to be nuts. That's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah. So, Matt, any big ideas or big plans coming forward for the city council run? Are you excited?
Definitely excited. Definitely very. I know it's going to be hard. I definitely. I mean, a victory would be great, but just like I'll be happy with 1%. I'll be happy with 2%. Like, I mean, I know how libertarians do in the city, but I definitely feel like
I broke 3% in 2019 for city council, so at least beat me. That's what I want to see. I want to see you beat me, because I raised $110, so and printed like one round of flyers, did almost no campaigning. So you can beat me. I know that.
I mean, I definitely feel like, first of all, local elections are a lot more open as opposed to like the presidential election. Like, so people are a lot more willing to hear your points of view. And I feel like if I focus on issues that have a libertarian slant, but kind of appeal to, it's Brooklyn, so it's very Democrat, very, whatever. I feel like I could definitely get some publicity in terms of making affordability of housing, police reform, stuff like that. But it's just like, it just all comes down to phrasing the stuff in a libertarian way, but making it appeal to, like, notice how I said affordability of housing and not affordable housing.
Yeah.
Because like
important.
Yeah. See, that's little things I got to do there. I'm not for affordable housing. I think we need to use free market systems to increase the affordability of housing for everybody. And I feel like once we do that, then the housing crisis won't be an issue. We just need to reduce regulations, zoning, stuff like that, and just build a shit ton of housing.
well, can I just argue a point? I like the libertarian philosophy in the sense that, do what you want as long as it doesn't interfere with other people's pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. That's like the main libertarian point. But what worries me with things like deregulation is, like, I live in Manchester. It's the biggest city in New Hampshire. But every single person I've ever met in Manchester has had that one piece of shit landlord never fixes a damn thing, doesn't take care of their property. They got roaches, they got mold, they got fucking mice, and when I hear deregulating that, it concerns me that a lot of landlords are just going to take advantage of that. And,
make landlords compete for good tenants. Build a shit ton of housing, give people tons of options. Nobody's going to want to live in your cockroach infested home.
But people might have.
If I have,
like, I can get a $800 a month 1-bedroom, in the crap part of town right now, and it, would be livable and it'd be affordable. But even where I'm at right now, where it's $1,200 a month, I still live in a shit ass neighborhood, like shootings on the street every night, and like $1,200 a month is barely affordable. And I have to have roommates who aren't even on the lease, mind you. That, like, I'm not trying to attack your platform, but I mean,
I certainly want to go after things like tenants' rights. I mean,
sure.
The thing is, like, there's definitely some things where it's just like, where I feel like the government can have some type of input in certain decisions on a local level. I'm much more okay with that as opposed to
like the localities for sure.
I would also bring up the fact that we are talking about Brooklyn, where there is definitely a larger amount of options when it comes to housing than, say, Manchester, New Hampshire.
That's fair.
I've lived in both places, love both places. However, even if you work in New York City and you live in Brooklyn, you can almost go to Queens or maybe not the Bronx, but if you work in Brooklyn, you can live in Queens, you can move around neighborhoods. There's a whole lot of options where if we deregulate housing, I would say that the good landlords that will be able to build large amounts of housing will outweigh the bad landlords who are just going to hold on to the shitty apartments that they've been managing for the last how many years, where people are going to be able to move to those better housings. You won't have to live in those shithole places like where I just moved out of in Flatbush.
I've had tons of shitty landlords, so I definitely sympathize with.
Right.
Just going to point out, I think we got about 30 seconds left with 2020, guys.
Oh, you're right.
Something worth celebrating.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Finally done with this fucking crap year.
All right. Let's see if I don't even know if my phone is going to count down the seconds for me. Maybe?
I got 2 screens, man. I got that dual screen action.
4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Happy fucking New Year, guys.
New Year, guys.
Woo!
Aww.
Hell yeah. My girlfriend's asleep, so lucky you, man.
Happy fucking New Year, guys.
Happy New Year, guys.
All right, so guns, drugs, taxes, and guillotines. Let's just...
What's going on with guillotines? What did I miss?
Kill Mitch McConnell.
Oh, there's a...
It must be the landlord forgetting, right? I hear Noah spouting off about Maoism over there, so...
I mean, that's pretty typical of Noah.
If we brought back public tarring and feathering to the public officials who violate their oath of office, I think that they'd be looking out for us a little better. Just maybe.
Yeah. I think
I don't know if that counts under guillotine, though.
Dude, I'm a big fan of the non-lethal tarring and feathering as opposed to the guillotine,
I mean,
Shame them up.
Definitely the people who built that guillotine outside of Bezos' house, I can't say I disagree with it. Just a thinly veiled threat.
Thinly veiled threat.
Where's the veil? I didn't see it.
Oh, it was on the chopping block. They were taking it down. Rebecca Fite says Jumanji.
Jumanji. If we finish the game and call out its name, I don't know. Maybe we can fucking fix the world in 2021.
I got
You
fireworks
know-
going on outside.
Right. Devin, how do you think we can fix the world in 1 year?
Oh boy.
Well, now that Biden's president, I'm pretty sure all the world's problems are over, right? That's
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
that's the general consensus I'm getting. Yeah, I don't know. I hope the issues that came to the forefront this year don't just kind of, dissipate from everybody's mind now that Trump's out of office and the big bad scary guy's gone, I mean, anybody that knows me knows I don't like either of those guys, but I just got a bad feeling that Democrats are going to be done fighting the good fight on that stuff, and I don't know. I can't count on the Republicans for anything. So
I saw this great video about this
Oh
black guy.
boy.
Who was like,
Here's the man himself.
Happy New Year, Reed.
What's going on, guys?
Happy New Year.
How you doing?
Living the dream, man.
It's nice.
You're a little bit quiet, my friend.
Yeah, sorry. I'm on the road. I'm at a gas station filling up.
Fun. Well, Happy New Year. I'm glad that you could join in this fun time. If you're driving, I'm guessing you're not partaking in the drinking game. So you and Sam are in the same seat here.
Oh, well. I had to bite the bullet.
So we were discussing how we could fix the world or the country in 1 year. Sam, Rob, I want to hear your answer.
Like the 7 of us or us?
You cut out there a little bit.
We're discussing just an overall. I don't even know. Just an overall.
David, I'm going to interrupt.
how it could
I've got a
happen.
pizza place to close. I'll talk to you guys later, hopefully.
All right.
All right.
Good night, Devin.
See you, Devin.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I think our best bet in 1 year is an asteroid. I don't really see it happening.
The
All
asteroid,
right, Asteroid 2021.
aliens.
Aliens.
Oh, I like that one, man.
I don't see a fast turnaround other than annihilation.
I like this talk about aliens. So can we come back to that?
Oh, of course.
I want to see what the Libertarian candidate for president and the Libertarian councilman think about aliens, and then let's see how that changes when you guys win office.
I hope they're out there. I hope they're out there. That was the
Man,
one story in 2020 that kind of came and then went real quick, right?
so quick. They buried that so fucking quick, man.
So
I would love to be able to dig into some of that stuff and say, yeah, okay, yeah, let's go ahead, let's declassify this, let's open this up, let's get rid of this.
But what if there's like some reason that you can't? Like, what if there's some fucking deal that's struck or something, man? You still try to do it?
Yeah, you know what? That's actually that was something. Did we talk about that, David? There are things
we
that
did.
you just don't know what's in place until you get into that office, until you have that administration.
All right.
I've heard things
Rob,
about like a
can you make
deal
a
that
pact?
happened in the 1960s or something with Roswell, and like 4 dudes just made a deal that was like, humanity will give you this, and we get this.
I
don't
don't
know.
know. Look around you right now. I don't think we got anything. I'm just saying.
Hey,
Pact.
we got
All
some
right.
stuff, man. We got lasers and CD players.
All right, Sam, Rob, can you make a promise to the American people that if you are elected president, you will declassify?
Yeah, we're
everything
really
in
gonna
Area
press you
51?
here now.
If I am elected president, I'll make this promise. If there are aliens at Area 51, I will go ahead and declassify them. We will let the people know. We will deal with that. If it's other usual secret crap, we'll just let that go. So you'll know if I get elected president and nothing happens about Area 51, it's boring, right?
Okay.
Mm,
All right.
Not necessarily, man.
I can sort of accept that answer, I will definitely, if you get elected when you get elected president and nothing happens, if that's the case, I will definitely have you back on the show to double check, give you an opportunity to come clean.
Really, man.
Oh, God.
It'll be
If you
great.
had any of the libertarian candidates this year elected president, I guarantee you might not get aliens released, but things would happen. There would have been plenty of things happening.
That's a fact.
Yeah, it would have been really amazing. But
All right, what does Brooklyn's finest think about aliens? You've been quiet over there, man.
Yeah, I was never really into the whole alien thing.
No, you're not even a little curious.
Nah. I mean, there's so much shit going on here. It's just like whatever those motherfuckers want to be doing out there, that's their business, you know. I'm gonna let them be. But I much prefer I would much more likely believe if they were to come here, it would be on a friendly and not a Men in Black type situation.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. If they have
for
the
my
technology to get here, then we don't got shit on them. We better hope they're fucking friendly.
I mean, if you really want to talk to aliens, just there's plenty of substances that you can ingest here on Earth that will allow you to talk to them.
Sure.
You ever hear that Lil Dicky song?
Drink.
Pillow
Talk.
Oh,
Yes.
good one.
Would we be able to like fuck with their shit?
No, bro.
I mean, I don't know. Or would we be like, yo, these Earthlings go hard? Yo, Earth go hard, man.
I don't know if we go hard, bro. I don't know.
We used to go hard.
Well, I gotta think though. Trump's got a big mouth. He'd probably say something. At least give like a little inkling of something if there was aliens.
Yeah. You would have heard. We have the best aliens. We have the hugest aliens. They're the greatest aliens. They're the best.
Right. Dude, here's something. The U.S. got them in check. Don't you worry.
Let me tell you what, they're gonna blow up the Earth under Biden, but I struck a deal with them.
Yep, we're gonna build the wall around
here on Earth and make the best deals in space.
Yep.
Oh, you know what? You know what, David? Speaking of Trump, is Eric going to be joining us tonight?
I don't believe so. I think he had a party to go to.
Oh man, all right.
I mean, some people do, like have lives and friends and like places to be on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, well, some people don't work on a line, man. I'm a line cook. I work every day.
Yeah, I don't work at all because I am a hobo politician who runs a YouTube channel.
That's what real politicians do. They don't work.
Right.
But they get paid better than us.
That's true. That's the part of politician that I haven't achieved yet. See, I've gotten down the not working and just talking to people all day and just like tweeting bullshit all day. I've gotten all of those parts of the job down. Just I haven't gotten the paycheck part.
You're halfway there, man.
What makes you think you're qualified? Look at my Twitter feed.
Right. Actually, no. See, I'm not qualified to be a politician because I suck at Twitter.
I don't even have a Twitter, so you're already far ahead of me, man.
I mean, that's fair. If anybody's watching, you should definitely follow some Twitters of the people here. Matt, I don't have your Twitter saved as a thingy to scroll across the bottom. So if you want to tell the people watching how to follow you. It's
at MCMO91. I've had Twitter since 2009. I'm an OG.
Oh, shit. I got one like right when it came out, and then I just got bored with it so quick.
Yeah, I didn't get my first smartphone until 2013. So there was a solid 4 years when I used to have to tweet by texting the Twitter number.
Oh my god!
You're send it in from your phone.
Oh god!
And then I would get like people would reply, and I'd get a text, and then I could then respond via text. Yeah, that's how I used to do it.
Sam Rob, I just looked at your Facebook. You were the state coordinator for Joe Jorgensen.
Yeah, here in Pennsylvania.
I wish I had known. I was trying to hop on that campaign. I couldn't get in touch with anyone.
Where are you? Are you in New York? New Hampshire?
Yeah.
Oh man, I think it was Richard Manzo up in. No,
I kept getting like automated messages from whatever system you guys use to like, donate money or whatever, but I couldn't get it. And volunteer outreach, man, it's so important and we forget about it.
Oh yeah.
It is the hardest thing to do on a campaign by far. And I'm not
David,
just saying
you
that
were on
because
top
it's
of
my
it. You got me.
Well, I mean, I got you, but I will be the first to admit that we let some really powerhouse volunteers fall through the cracks on Tulsi's campaign. I just hope that we don't, and I'm working diligently with some other people, that we don't do the same thing with Stacey Pressman's campaign or Matthew Morgan's campaign in New York City next year. But keeping volunteers engaged is the most difficult thing to do as someone that's running a campaign.
Yeah.
I don't know. How did you keep people around you, Sam?
Well, for my campaign, I didn't really. My campaign was really just me, because the Libertarian Party nomination process is so different, right? It's all internal to the party. For me, it was going to conventions and meeting, 40 or 50 people, right? So that was very different. When we shifted over to the national campaign for Joe and Spike, a lot of what I did early on was just like you said, try not to let people fall through the cracks. Get in touch with as many people as possible. Sometimes that was just a really big. Here we've got 4,000 email addresses from people that signed up. Yeah, let's spam them. Which hurt me right here. I'm a computer guy. The idea of sending spam just hurt me, but we did it anyways. It was for a good cause. And then getting in touch with people as much as we could, and just getting them connected. One of the biggest things I think we did right early on was we started having twice a week Zoom calls to just get all the volunteers, anybody who was interested, a place where they could go and see what was going on and ask questions and help coordinate things. And just being able to meet with other people, I think kept a lot of people involved that otherwise might have fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense on this end.
Yeah.
I wish we could have done that a little bit more, David.
I definitely.
We got our hands so full.
I think that for Tulsi and New Hampshire, we definitely found a few like diamonds in the rough that I hope stay in politics for forever.
Eric was great.
Including you, Eric Jackman, Reed Coverdale, who was in here earlier. He's going to be a big thing, I think, within libertarian politics in the next couple of years. We also had like Eric Phillips, who just crushed volunteer coordination for a couple of things.
Awesome.
Yes. And I hope that, I basically spent 2020 traveling the country, meeting a whole bunch of people that work in politics. And my whole plan for the entire time was just find the best people I can, so that when we have good campaigns to run, I can just say, hey, I have like a 5-bedroom apartment in Brooklyn. Everybody come to New York. Let's crush this campaign. And we're trying to ramp up to that in 21. So, I hope that the people that crushed it in New Hampshire, people that I worked with in Michigan and California and North Carolina, we could all kind of converge for liberty in New York City and fucking drive it home in 2021.
Fuck yeah.
I think you'll see
that. In the most libertarian district in all of Brooklyn, 0.06%, I think, or 0.6%. I was like, hell yeah.
For Joe, I'm assuming?
For Joe. I think it was like, I don't know, the district, I don't know how they broke it down, but it was like, I think like 5,000, and I think Joe got like 200, 250 or something like that. I was like, yeah.
So
I mean, that's not awful.
Yeah.
Well, I depend. Looking at where you're at, though, that seems like a pretty good. You reached 200 people.
Yeah. I only got 305 votes in my city council run total.
I would have voted David.
Thanks, Noah.
I've been there.
I've been getting in. I've been getting involved. I've been going to all the community board well, not going, but doing the calls, and it's pretty. Oh my god! Like, it's so much. I'm going to miss the online Zoom calls if they ever go back to regular community board meetings, because the best, like, when you're doing a community board meeting in person, the people are talking. You can't just be like having these separate conversations, but with Zoom, you can have these separate conversations, and it's like fucking amazing. I don't get involved. I just read, because I'm like trying to like be like, all right, what are people talking about in the neighborhood? And like people are just like going back and forth, like arguing with each other. And I was like, this is so awesome. I'm loving this.
I don't think you're going to see too much. I don't think you're going to see Zoom and online stuff abandoned completely, just because it's so convenient.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we're basically using it now.
It's just easier to do for a lot of people. So I think it's going to stick around.
Yeah.
Well, the one complaint was that these Zoom, like these onlines, aren't technically like legal or something by New York City state rules. So like any decisions that are made, like because they're not in person, are apparently whatever. But other people are like, there's like old people, like, or people who are like at work who like can't make these meetings, like if they were in person. So this online gives access to a lot more people to be able to come to these things. So I definitely think it should be hybrid if once we get back to, things opened up.
Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome. I think a lot of the stay at home from work thing, I think that's going to stick around, because, you get to stay at home while you're working. And I could see school as well. I saw that Rebecca actually commented and said she wants school to stay online, and I don't see why not. You get to stay home. There's less stress for the parents. I mean, at least for driving them to school. But, I think it'd be better for the kid to stay at home anyways. You're not going to these government facilities where you're going to be re-educated and not monitored. And I have my own bone to pick with schools, man. But yeah, I could see it staying online. Like, snow days, stuff like that. You could shorten the school year a little bit. I don't see why it's a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was.
We had our girls suffering through the fact that snow days are no more. It doesn't matter what you talk about, what happens. Snow days are just gone now. Like, okay, fire up the Zoom like you did.
Yeah, but you get an early summer.
Yeah, when I was younger,
I don't know
snow days were brutal. They'd have to be like 2 feet for them to consider.
Right?
I'd sit there in the morning, like reading, and to be like every school around us was like closed, and I was just like.
That's how I learned all
I
the
was homeschooled, so I don't want to hear any of that shit, because I've never had a snow day ever.
Well, what do you think? How do you like being at home for school, David?
So I will be the most neutral person when it comes to homeschooling. I will advise any parent who has control over their emotions to homeschool their children. And any parent that does not have control over their emotions or feels like they won't feel fulfilled if that's all they're doing is teaching their kids, and they need something else, like a job or just a life of some sort, don't homeschool your kids, because you will torture them because you're torturing yourself.
Yeah.
However, I graduated a year early. I was testing college level in almost every subject by junior high. I definitely am thankful for the fact that I was homeschooled and that I got to have that one-on-one interaction. But my mom also has an associate's degree in education, an associate's degree in accounting, and a bachelor's degree in education. So she knew what the fuck she was doing. She did this to give us a better quality of education. It wasn't because we were Christians or that, they didn't want sex ed or they didn't want evolution or any of that shit. It was literally just because she wanted to teach me one-on-one, and she did a good job for the most part. Whereas a lot of other people I have interacted with in homeschooling groups are morons who should never have taught their kids because their kids turned out to be morons. And so, if you are not qualified, don't try to teach your children. But also don't just surrender your kids to the government.
Who got pulled out at like 15 years old because her mom turned into my mom turned into like a West Hillborough-esque level of Christian, and pulled her out of school and was like, this is the type of stuff you're going to be learning. She's like, I learned absolutely nothing. Like, she's like, she's like in her late 20s. She's like, I got my GED a couple years ago. I was just like, so yeah, there's definitely some people who shouldn't be teaching.
Yeah, I interacted with a lot of close friends when I was growing up who, their parents didn't have the kind of, oh yeah, we're talking about religion, which is also part of the drinking game. So those that are drinking. Thank you, Rebecca, for keeping us honest in the Facebook comments. I definitely interacted, like I was saying, with a bunch of people that were just not, that didn't have enough control over the kids and didn't like the idea of like forcing their kids to do something their kids didn't want to do. And no one likes school, especially in like 5th or 6th grade. Like, no one was enjoying school then. So a lot of people were just like, okay, let's go to the zoo and call it science class in like 6th or 7th grade, where they're supposed to be learning like really deep fundamental stuff out of a textbook by then. That's cool for like 1st and 2nd and 3rd grade. That part was awesome because I got hands-on learning by like going to science museums and the zoo and stuff like that. But sometimes you need to just read a textbook. Otherwise, you're going to be severely unprepared for college, which luckily I wasn't, but a lot of my friends never even really went to college because they never tested in.
Yeah.
Noah, you missed a drink moment because we're talking about religion.
Oh boy, I better take 2, man.
Yeah. I definitely feel like we like college is way too pushed as like an immediate thing you have to do after high school. I think we should move away because there's like so much stuff now in my late 20s that I'm interested in, and I'm just like, I should have gone to school for that. I like that now. Like, I got like a business degree, which was good. Like, it's a good all around respected degree, but still like now I'm super into finance, and I wasn't when I was 21, 22. And if I went to school for that, then like I could easily get a job in something I wanted to do, as opposed to them being like, we have no experience. It's like, yeah, but I really like it.
I think these figures are something like 90% of the people who go to college don't do anything related to their degree.
Right.
I was a metallurgical engineering major. I ended up going into the Navy. Then I became a computer programmer, and now I'm, I guess, a politician.
Right.
So,
yeah,
Welcome
your early
to
20s
craft,
really
my
should
friend.
just be for. Your early 20s should just be for fucking up and working shit jobs, like or getting lucky and getting an awesome job and being like, this is definitely what I want to do.
Yep.
So I like, and most employers, I mean, especially like if you get lucky, like, at 20 or 21, and you work for a company, and you're like, hey, I like doing this. They'll be like, some companies that they have money will be like, awesome, we'll pay for you to go to college.
Yeah, that's about what I'm doing right now, so you're not wrong. But I don't know. I kind of wish I had gone to college, but my degree field isn't worth shit for money. So if I had gone to college for like a business degree, like I wanted to, I'd figure it out after that. But I want to go for philosophy, so I don't think
Yeah,
that makes
that's a
very
hard
much
one.
money.
That's a hard one.
Yeah. The girl who's working, one of my employees, she just graduated and she has a philosophy degree. I work at Sherwin-Williams, the paint store. So.
Yeah. Well, I work with an art major. He's my boss. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's a good guy, though. I mean, art school and all.
I'm just confused how that arrangement works, because I never looked into it. But like, if a company pays for you to go somewhere, to go to school,
Mm-hmm.
like, what's the obligation on your end? To be like, all right, fuck you.
It depends. It depends.
Like, if you don't work with them for 5 years, do you then have to pay them back, or?
It all entirely depends on what sort of contract you sign. Because I've had a few jobs where there was a path to do that, and it's things like they'll pay for 50% of your college, but only while you're working there. Or they'll make you sign a contract where if you don't work for the company for a certain set period of time after you get your degree, then you got to pay a percentage of it back. So it all really depends on the company, because
makes sense.
It's a company benefit. They can do whatever they want,
Yeah.
But
that's actually a really good
forgot a lighter
way to get that sort of thing out of the government's going to give you money so you can go and do whatever you want, into spend some time, figure out where your interests lie, and then find someone who's willing to pay you to do that.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, even better, making our taxpayer money work for us. I'm not opposed to free higher education, like a community college being anyone can go to that. You know what I mean? Anyone within the state can go to that. I think in order to create competition within the free market, our taxpayer dollars should be put to the benefit of us, where you can get a good low to no cost education at the cost of your taxpayer money that directly competes with other colleges, so you can get a higher education for less money. However, it drives the price down in other parts of the market who are trying to compete with like government healthcare or government schooling. So something like that. I feel like a lot of people think libertarian politics can't exist within the government, but I think they can coexist. But just takes creativity,
Education is one of those places where they absolutely can. I mean, you look at things like the Khan Academy, right? Go and find which one of the 30,000 courses do you want to take today, right? And take that and mix it up with the population that's now used to doing things online and virtually.
Yeah, or VLAX even.
I think you've got an opportunity for some college that really gets out ahead of it to say, oh yeah, we're the premier online place. You don't have to leave home. You don't have to pay room and board. You can take your classes here. We've got a guaranteed classroom size of 20 people at a max, and if you want to sign up with us as a teacher, we guarantee you that you're going to have at least 20 students. And
you pay a nominal, or even you pay a nominal. What's the word for it? A small amount of money, and you get like a slightly more respected or better education. You know what I mean?
Or you could pay $100 and take one of those master classes.
Yeah. You get like a free government college, and then if you want a little upgrade from that, you can go to this program that this school is offering. And you pay a little bit more money. You pay money, and not that much, but you get a little bit of a better education, and you get a government healthcare plan, and you could pay $100 for supplemental things that plan doesn't cover. So I think you can create competition within the free market using taxpayer money that directly benefits the people who can't afford to go and get a higher education or get a healthcare plan, while still driving prices down for everybody else. I don't know. I might just be crazy, but
It's a hot take.
I think
For sure.
yeah,
That's why I'm
what you
wild
need
card.
to do
man.
there.
Hey,
What you need to do there is got a new guest here, my sister Rebecca Fite Knighton.
Hey.
So I think based off of what you just said, Noah, I think how we have to do it is if we're going to give the citizens money from the government, which is a super unlibertarian thing to be okay with, but fuck it. You need to
It's our
also
money
open up the
anyway.
free market. Right. So you need to also equally open up the free market to allow people to freely give that money wherever they want it. It can't be a universal system where, okay, you have to get your food from this place or your medicine from this place or your anything from any place. It has to be you have the freedom of choice to spend your government money however you see fit.
So instead of
That's
you're
my,
saying
that's
instead
my
of
2 cents.
so your opinion would be that instead of the government paying ABC University, it should just give money to the person that can't afford it, and they can either choose to go to ABC University with their $4,000 and tuition is $4,000, or they can go to this school which is $6,000 and they have that $4,000, so it's only $2,000.
That makes sense, but
Correct. Or they can go to Harvard and try to get a scholarship.
Oh,
We lost him.
shit.
But yeah, I definitely feel like
I get
that.
what you're saying. I get what he's saying. I can't say I disagree with it, but I think there should be like a bare minimum level at which you can achieve a higher education. I have to agree with like Andrew Yang on the issue where jobs are getting very, very, very technical. And if you don't have higher education, it's going to start becoming harder and harder to, make ends meet with just your job if you don't have a really technical or higher education to back up your skill set,
Right. But I also just feel like those institutions take advantage of the system when it's just like, because the reason like in the 1960s, like once colleges knew that like people could obtain X amount of dollars from the government with like government approved loans, they're like, oh, so they're getting $5,000 on our tuitions, $3,000. Well, let's bump it up to $5,000. And then it became $6,000 because they knew that government money was a guarantee.
Yeah, government abuse. I mean, that's a big issue.
Drink, folks.
Yeah. Drink. I am going to have to catch up with you guys tomorrow.
There we go. I'll have to have you back on the show very soon, my friend.
Yeah. I need to get David.
We do have
I need to get going.
All right. Thank you so much, Rob. Have a wonderful evening and Happy New Year. All right. So we do have somebody on here who can touch specifically on higher education in the technical fields because my sister just finished her cosmetology license. So that, is college really the correct answer? Do we have a mic for you?
That is a loaded question there. I mean, I went to both. I started going to the local community college, and changed my major like 3 times while there because I thought I wanted to be a teacher. Decided I hate dealing with kids all day. Not about that life. And then found communications, so like TV, radio, video editing, which is why David has roped me into editing all of his videos. Did that for a while, and I love it. But it's a commitment. I mean, you've got to go there go to community college for at least 2 years. I was there for 3 and still didn't get a degree because I changed my major so many times, and you need specific credits to graduate with any sort of degree. was there for 3 years, then got married, found out I was pregnant, and never went back because I couldn't commit to the time because I couldn't afford to go to school and not work. Like there was that I either worked and supported my family, or I went to school and then had to pay for child care and all that stuff. I still had to pay for all of that.
Right.
So, which was one of the reasons why I stopped. Recently went back and I went to beauty school here in Syracuse. I was there for 2 years, even though it was a 14-month program, because I got pregnant, of course. A month in, I found out I was pregnant. But the cool thing about something like that is they let me take a leave. I was able to, when I needed to, say, okay, I'm stopping for a little while. I stopped for about 8 weeks and then went back and finished because I could do that. And then when my daughter went in for her heart surgery, I was able to then take more time off that I needed and then just go and finish it again. So I've just finally in December got my official license, took all my boards, all that stuff. So yes, that 2 years in the making. And now
how much did all that cost, if you don't mind me asking? Not the school, but the licensing and the tests and that extra stuff.
Oh, the extra stuff. Once I graduated school, the license, the written was I think 60. The practical was I think 80. And then to actually receive the license was 40.
Okay.
So, and that 40 I have to do every 4 years. But I don't have to do I don't have to do any of the testing again for the rest of my life.
Right.
I pay $40 every 4 years and I have a license that I can make money with forever, even if I'm not actively working.
I just don't get that. I just think that's stupid. Like, why do you have to pay
$40 to be able to do what I was trained to do?
Right. Like to tell you I know what I'm doing.
You had an education for and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like to pay for all of the time that it took to do to pay for the schooling, sure. And then to pay to sit for the exam, like to say that, okay, you need to take an exam to prove that you did it.
Right.
So that way they can pay the people because there were instructors and everything there during the exam that had to get paid to sit there, you know?
Right.
Like that part I understand. But the part that I have to do that every 4 years.
Yeah.
And
something
it's not
like beauty school makes so much sense. It's so intelligent. It's like, what are you there for? It's like, I want to be a beautician. Like you go to college. And
I want to do pretty hair.
Yeah. The first 2 years, I didn't do, it was just like all gen ed. It's like, I did this for fucking 16 years. Like, why am I still, or, 14 years, 13 years, whatever. Like, why am I still doing this?
Specialize,
Yeah.
Like, you should just be able to go like, okay, I'm going to school for management or to be an accountant or, to be a finance, whatever. They're like, okay, here's the 14 classes. It'll take you 2 years. You want to be a lawyer. Like you have to take, you have to get your whatever bachelor's in this and then you can go to law school. But it's just like, why did I spend I got to go to Paris when I studied abroad. When I went to Hofstra, there was like accredited business classes, and I had to take these special business classes to be able to get my degree in business. And when I went to Paris, there wasn't any of those at the school that I went to. So, but I was able to find like holes in my credits that would transfer over. And I was just like, why do I have all these stupid classes in the first place? Like, what are the point of these classes that like they're not towards my degree? Like I had to take like an art history and like all this other stupid bullshit. And I'm just like, I'm here for it. You're getting an extra like $100,000 out of me because I have to take these stupid classes.
Yeah.
I think the general idea that they try to justify it under, at least, is to try to make a well-rounded person. I think that's their thinking behind it. Just as an
You're
answer.
not well-rounded by 18. I gotta tell you, man.
Oh, come on now. Think of all
Right.
the 18-year-olds out
One
there,
of the main
man.
reasons I dropped out.
They're well-rounded.
Think of all the degenerates.
current
all the
18-year-olds
I met in
are
college.
not. Yeah, I mean, so I think the current 18-year-olds are mostly degenerates. When I was 18, a lot of my friends were degenerates, but I was not.
Well, are you
Actually, I was
saying
still a
that
good
'cause
egg
you're
when I
old
was 18.
nowadays?
I didn't even smoke. I barely drank when I was 18. Shit, I was a virgin for most of 18.
No,
I was a good little kid.
Oh man.
But I
he's
feel like
kinda softer
Matt's
than
probably got a point. Maybe he was a good egg when he was 18 as well. I didn't know him when he was 18.
But
But
one thing we should
Hey, a
definitely
lot of
the new brand
18-year-olds
of teenagers is a whole different thing.
I'm definitely gonna let my kids drink when they're younger. Like not like get blackout, but like a glass of wine with dinner, champagne for Christmas and New Year's and celebrations and stuff. Like at least let them, because like the problem in America
What
is
about
like these
smoking?
kids. Weed? I don't know.
Drugs.
They can do it in the house. I'm gonna be one of those parents. You can do it in the house under my supervision.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, drink. We're talking about drugs.
Oh.
I'm gonna smoke some drugs for this part.
That's fair. If you're drugsing, do drugs on the drugs topic.
All
If
right.
you're watching and drugsing, I hope you're having as much fun as we are.
Dude, this is my first podcast, and I gotta say, I'm enjoying myself. I might have to do this more
I'm
often.
glad. You should definitely. You should come on the show. We're going to be doing weekly episodes every single Monday at 8 p.m. And then
I can't wait
we're
to
going to
talk
be doing
about the
monthly
newest
specials.
atrocity.
It's ambitious.
Yeah, I mean, we're yeah. Honestly, it's that. So I will say, I will be completely candid here and say that doing this podcast has been one of the brightest parts of 2020 for me. I've gotten to interact with some of my favorite people ever, thanks to this show. I've had Valerie Sarwark on, Joseph Bishop Henchman twice, a few others. This week I had Sam Robb and Stacy Pressman. I had so many awesome people that I got to interact with here thanks to the show. So I highly encourage anyone that likes talking and interacting with people to have a podcast because it's a good time and you get to meet other people and you get to give people an outlet to express their views and their philosophies and kind of evangelize liberty to people in new and interesting ways, and it's great.
I never did that. I should have gotten into that. I've been making a YouTube show for the past 4 years, but I've always just done it just me talking. Maybe that's because I'm a little self-absorbed and also a little introverted.
Well, we're all into politics, so I think we all are. I know I am.
So honestly, I will admit at the beginning, I did both. So I did 2 things a week. I did a live show with someone, and I did like a pre-recorded and edited show, like with graphics and stuff like that by myself. So one was kind of like a Joe Rogan, and the other one was kind of like a John Oliver was kind of like what I was trying to go for between the two, but both libertarian, more.
Right.
Now it's just other people because I don't have time to like write scripts and research bills the way that I was during quarantine, and also because I have found that I love talking to other libertarians and other people about their life philosophies, and people enjoy that more than just getting preached to about politics. Talking
Yeah,
about like life philosophy rather than politics has been so beneficial for everything that I've done, both in life and in politics, for sure.
Yeah.
So here's
Hey,
to
so
2021 and
Brooklyn's
good life
finest.
philosophy.
What's up, man?
Have you thought about campaigning in bars?
Once they're open.
That's right. You're in New York. Shit. I
What's
mean,
the-
like,
what's
Literally in his
give me the
name,
angle.
Brooklyn's finest. You said
okay,
Brooklyn,
all
hey,
right.
Brooklyn's finest.
Not Brooklyn, Ohio.
That's fair. That's fair. But
I went
I
to
don't
Brooklyn,
know,
Ohio this year, ironically. I've been to
Yeah.
Brooklyn, Ohio more recently than Brooklyn, New York, even though I lived in Brooklyn, New York for 2.5 years.
There's a Brooklyn, Ohio.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah,
How
just
did I
south
live
of,
there and not realize there was a Brooklyn in Ohio?
yeah. It's the most important city in Ohio, man. What do you mean you didn't know
that's
about
not
that?
true at all. Not true at all.
It's
What part of Ohio did you
significantly
live in?
untrue. She was in Bowling Green.
Oakland.
Bowling
I don't
Green.
Bowling Green. There's a
Okay.
mall. There's a outlet mall over there, huh?
I think.
Or it's called Settlers. Settlers Green. Yep.
Okay.
I'm
I grew
familiar.
up. I grew up in Worcester, Ohio.
Really?
Worcester.
To me, that's the most
I went
important.
I went to the county fair in Worcester while I was going to college in Ohio.
Oh hell yeah!
In 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was in
I loved
Worcester,
growing up
Ohio.
there. I always said it's a great place to grow up and it's a great place to grow old, but in the 20 years between high school and everything else, it is a fucking boring place to live. I don't know if I'll go back, but it's a good place.
I loved Ohio. I loved living in Ohio. I mean, I
Yeah.
know I was Bowling Green, Toledo area, but I loved it. It was, I miss it. I keep wanting to go back, and I keep joking with my boss that I'm gonna go back, and she's like, "No, you can't leave."
New
Is your
Hampshire man,
license-
born and raised.
Is your license? How does that work? Is that
Cool thing. Specifically Ohio. That I can go and get. I can go and sit for essentially the test. I don't need to do the schooling. I can go and sit for the test. As long as I pass the test there, I can get my license in Ohio. My schooling transfers. I still need to do the actual written and practical testing.
Gotcha.
Some states aren't like that. Some states, they make you do extra hours or do X amount of hours of their schooling because it's different. But one cool thing is once you have a cosmetology license in 3 states, I am considered national. So I can work in any state.
What about experience? Is
What?
that like what's if you worked in like New York for like 15 years? Does that get you national recognition or no?
Not really. You still need to do the testing, but the cool thing is once you've got that much experience, even the states that sit there and go, "Oh, you need," because in New York you need 1,000 hours to be able to even sit for your exams. In Ohio it's actually 1,200, but luckily Ohio doesn't really care. It's one of those states that doesn't care about the hours. Someplace like I think it's Tennessee, I think, so don't quote me on it, but I think somebody said Tennessee, it's 2,000. So you actually have to go go to school for another 1,000 hours to then be able to sit for their test.
So what is that?
I feel like this sounds like a government
That's like a
tax
whole
on your
year.
time, and therefore we should still drink.
I don't know about
The
all
2,000
that.
hours, if you worked 40 hours a week, is 50 weeks, which is essentially a year. Like a whole extra year you'd have to.
Mhm.
Yep. The 1,000 hours that if you went full time to school, so full time days, which was about, I think it was about 36, because we had to take like breaks and stuff like that, but we were technically in the building for 40 hours, so I think it ended up being 36, somewhere around there. That took about 9 months.
Okay.
If I would have been going full time, I would have been out before my daughter was born. But because I was going nights and I was only getting about 17 hours a week, it was about a 14-month program.
So what do you learn in there?
A lot more than you
I'm
would think.
curious too.
A
It's just
lot more than you would think.
Like
We
what
have,
goes into cutting hair, man?
I mean, there is a point of, yes, we learned how to cut hair and how to do the different angles and what
Right.
to expect, but we also we had a chapter on anatomy. I had a whole test on where the muscles are, where the bones are, where the nerve, like all of that. I needed all of that. We have a chemistry chapter. There was a whole section on electricity, because there are certain things in like facials and like pedicures and stuff like that that use electricity. So we need to know what we're doing. We need to know at the very basics of what actually we're using, and not just plug it in and it works. We need to know the different currents and how it affects other things. There's also
So
I mean,
what type of professions go to beauty school? Like, is it just people who cut hair, or people working in massage parlors? Or...
Cosmetology too.
Cosmetology is a very broad term.
All right.
Anybody who goes and gets a cosmetology license can cut, color, style. There are chemical restructuring of hair, so perms, relaxers, blowouts. I don't know. You guys are guys, so you might not know all these terms.
Yo, I don't know,
them.
man. People have
If
been
you asked
telling
me
me
to describe what they meant.
Perm makes your hair curly, a relaxer makes your hair straight, but it's literally it's going into the cortex of your hair and completely restructuring the texture of your hair.
Okay.
So
if you're telling me aliens don't exist, Mr. Brooklyn's finest, I don't believe that for a goddamn second. They're restructuring your DNA in your hair, and you're telling me that there's no fucking aliens. I don't believe you. They only got to this guy, man. I don't know about this.
I never said they weren't out there. I just said I don't know if we've made contact.
Well, come on. What more proof do you need, man?
Everyone's always like the pyramids. It's just like,
fuck the pyramids. They're restructuring your DNA up in your hair. Who cares about the pyramids, man?
Right.
I'm actually really fascinated with this one scientific procedure called CRISPR, CRISPR.
Oh yeah, gene editing.
That's
a really interesting one. Yeah. I heard that they used CRISPR to make the COVID vaccine. That could be complete bullshit, but
yeah,
someone told me that. Unnamed, like, fucking Wikipedia source or some shit, but
yeah, the one company that I follow is all about sickle cell right now.
Yeah, fixing that.
Basically, they injected the DNA with the something that like fights the whatever. I don't know. Anyways, back to cosmetology.
Cosmetology has been invented by aliens, man. I'm telling you.
Do aliens count as a religion, guys?
No.
For some people, they do. It is for some people. It does.
People they do.
I think anyway.
For my good friend Livy, exactly. Yeah, drink anyway.
So much tequila, man. You're hurting me.
See, this is why I drink
Good.
wine.
So
'Cause I'm not
here's
gonna
the
get-
idea.
Wine.
Here's the idea. If you get blackout, just like not blackout, because that's stupid, but if you just like burn yourself with liquor and some really good weed and some shots of some strong stuff, and you start out 2021 with a deep burning in your chest, it can only go up from there continuously for the rest of the year. If you
well, you
if
would
you
think,
puke
but
your
that's
guts
how I
out at
started
2
off
a.m.
2020 guy, and that didn't work. It only
Yeah.
went down.
Well, okay,
I didn't
so
really,
you
I
want
didn't
to
all
catch
yell
New Year's
Jumanji.
Eve. It got worse.
Did you all yell Jumanji? Because
Jumanji.
No. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. In a little under 3 minutes, for those watching in Central Standard Time, it will then be 2021. So anyone in Texas, anyone in that Midwestern area, get ready to ring in the new year and say goodbye to 2020 because fuck that year. Even though it was the best year of my life, not gonna lie. But
low key fuck
Um,
2020.
so I want to hear Matt Morgan because I know Noah how you rang in the new year. Okay.
I'll be right back.
Matt. Okay. Matt, I want to hear how you rang in 2020.
How I ran in? I was here with you guys.
No, 2020.
Oh,
Well, that's
2020.
Oh, rang
last
out.
year.
Okay, right. I just had a. Already, yeah. I'll tell you what I told you in that message. Yeah. So basically, I went over to my friend's house and I hooked up with this girl who has a husband and
Nice.
yeah, and then I just kind of blame the whole year on that. Like I feel like I cursed. I sent out a bad omen for the year.
So it's all your fault.
I partially feel responsible. When things started going bad, I was like, "Oh, this is me. I did this. This is bad karma."
See, I fully believe that that this is all it started quite a while ago and it's kind of been ramping up. And it all started when Neil deGrasse Tyson demoted Pluto as a planet.
Listen, man, Pluto didn't deserve that.
What year was that?
It was like 2011, I think.
Something like that.
No, it wasn't that. It was a little later.
Because there was that, and then there was the 2012 apocalypse fear, and then 2016 happened, and we had Trump, and we had then ramping up in 2020. We have what we have now. I think this is Pluto pissing, or getting a little bit pissed, and taking out his revenge on the human race. That's my theory.
A lot of people have which one is it? August 2016, the International Astronomical Union downgraded the status of Pluto to that of a dwarf planet. So it's 2006.
Is it 2016?
No, it's 2006.
Okay. So, all right. Happy New Year for those in Central Standard Time.
Oh, woo! Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
So right off the bat, Pluto goes ahead and crushes the financial institutions of the world as its first act of vengeance.
Right. Right. And then it's just been downhill from there. Like I was in middle school when that happened, and none of my adult life has been good. Like economically, like socially, like it's just been a fuck storm for quite some time.
Well, everybody said
you're younger than me, so. Well, you are 5 years older than me, so you got a little bit ahead of the curve. Noah's younger than me. Matt, I think you and
not by much.
You're somewhere,
asshole. Not by much.
Yeah, like a year.
No, like 2 months.
A lot of people blame it
really?
on
What's your birthday?
Harambe. Everyone says that was the
You
catalyst.
should
That
know this.
I should. Harambe, yes. So I was literally playing a game earlier with some friends from my church, where I it was basically like an apples to apples, and I used Harambe and I won. So it's a good time. That might have
That was-
also been the catalyst.
yeah.
It's either Pluto or Harambe, one of the two.
Or both.
Or both.
No, it was definitely the financial crisis that was the catalyst of
So-
everything that's happened over the past 10 years.
Where does everyone sit on the whole mask and just COVID thing in general? You know, because the libertarians, they come across all spectrums, it seems, with this particular issue.
It's very
You know,
true.
close it up, open it up, mask, no mask. You know, I'm curious what everyone thinks. And I don't know, there was a national news story actually about our governor here in New Hampshire. I don't know if anyone saw that. But yeah.
Did he go somewhere?
So Governor Sununu is our governor, who is awesome. He's actually a really good governor. I think he's a libertarian, but he won't admit it for fear of losing Republican Party support. But he actually did close he was supposed to do like an inauguration thing, I guess, but armed protesters kept coming to his house, and he decided not to do an inauguration party. But all that being said, I like the way our governor has responded to the coronavirus. You know, we do have a mask mandate as far as it goes for like federal buildings, which the libertarian in me hates that because, you know, you should be free to do what you want. But the reasonable person in me says, well, this is a dangerous disease and you should avoid spreading it to others. And so, you know, that part of me says people should be reasonable enough to wear masks. So I wanted to see what your guys' thoughts on it, how your governors were doing, and just how you think it should be done, whether or not those two coincide. Because you're Ohio, right?
No,
I'm
we
in
all
Brooklyn.
live in New York, so we have the worst governor in the fucking universe.
Yeah.
Or, well, I think it's a three-way tie. And I had the worst time in 2020. I spent most of my time in either New York, Michigan, or California. So I was either under Cuomo, Gretchen Whitmer, or Gavin Newsom for the majority of the most tyrannical year in American government since John Adams was president. And it fucking sucked. And it was awful. But I got to watch so many people who were Democrats or Republicans or Libertarians or Independents, like all over the political spectrum, band together to say, fuck Gretchen Whitmer, fuck Gavin Newsom, fuck Andrew Cuomo, and start passing legislation through ballot initiatives and petitions to start removing executive power from all of these people. So I think the gross mishandling of the COVID-19 crisis has actually kind of done the United States a favor because we've pushed people towards the edge of like finally understanding what libertarianism is, because the government sucks at almost everything it does. And they showed their true colors this year. And
I can agree with that, but I do have a question as to whether or not, or what you consider the mishandling in terms of like mask mandates and stuff, or
I mean, well, so Andrew Cuomo put a whole bunch of COVID positive people into nursing homes and murdered thousands of people.
See, that's what we don't hear outside of New York. Like,
so that's what happened. That is what happened in New York. Gretchen Whitmer went full-blown Nazi mode and decided to enact powers from a really, really old bill that had been like rewritten and no one had really enacted. This was like a 40s era bill. It was rewritten in the 70s to give the executive branch a little bit less power. She kind of just pretended the 70s one didn't exist, went all the way back to the 40s, and just declared something close to martial law where she could just do whatever the fuck she wanted by executive order. And Michigan came together and they were like, how about no? And so they circulated the Unlock Michigan petition, which had a whole bunch of bad publicity because there was a whole bunch of terrible people working on it. I will admit, I also worked on it. I'm not a terrible person, but I believed in it truly. There were people that were doing actual awful things, I will admit, and pretending that it was a gay rights petition. They were carrying both of them, and they were like, here, it's this awesome petition, and oh, that one's full. Here, sign the next page. And the next page was the Unlock Michigan petition. That's awful. I don't believe in that kind of stuff. But ballot initiatives and direct voter interaction with their government is the most libertarian solution possible. And so we won actually both of those ballot initiatives. I was carrying both of them, but I'm held myself accountable correctly. And both of those got their signatures, and they'll both be going to Michigan. California is going to reverse the ban on flavored tobacco. New York gets to boot Cuomo in 2 years. Facts. Maybe we can undo that in New York and Massachusetts as well, because they both already passed that.
Please do, because we got enough massholes as it is, man. And like,
right. Matthew, do you have a platform for reversing the ban on flavored vapes and tobaccos in New York City?
My platform is yes.
Okay. Do you have? Yeah.
I mean, my platform would be just decrim all.
Decrim all. How?
Yeah.
Let me ask you a better question, because that was a terrible question, and I'll admit it. How do you think you could get if you and maybe like 2 other people win their run the next year? How do you think you could work with the other existing Democrats and the new Democrats and Republicans to reverse Cuomo's draconian measures?
That's a good question. I think it comes down to just being consistent and pointing out real, not like name calling or making sure what you're pointing out is an actual problem and being like, this is why it's a problem, instead of just being like, you're a Nazi or whatever name calling, because that doesn't look good, and it definitely doesn't win you any points. So you just have to show actual reasons why you feel like he's overstepping his power, which you see with all the lockdowns definitely isn't that difficult. And I agree with what you said earlier about they've definitely shown their hand, played, and show their true colors of what their true intentions are. But
yeah, I think
definitely
that
kind of
possibly
with the dynamic between New York City and New York State. There's definitely more I need to learn about what exactly the relationship is. I'm still kind of in the dark about exactly how much influence New York State has over issues, because it just seems like for the past 8 months especially, there's just been a dick measuring contest between de Blasio and Cuomo about who has the power to shut down schools, who has the power over the MTA, who has the power to enact lockdown orders. So
yeah, it definitely has been I like the comment you made, a dick measuring contest between de Blasio and Cuomo, like who can be the most dictatorship minded, like authoritarian asshole,
right.
like welding parks shut de Blasio, fuck you, you racist piece of shit. I'm so glad you are term limited and somebody with a brain and possibly, hopefully, a soul will replace you, even if it's not Stacey Pressman, because he literally welded parks shut, and then rabbis went out with bolt cutters and opened it back up for these kids. Like, that was one of the greatest moments of COVID-19, in my
That was super punk
humble
rock.
opinion.
What? It's not when
Right.
Trump pushed out all those BLM protesters for a fucking photo op
So
in
that
front of
was
a
one of
church.
the worst parts. That was probably the worst part of COVID-19.
That
was,
was
yeah,
one of the
gassing
grossest
protesters.
misuse of power I have ever seen in my entire life. I didn't think I'd see that in today's I'd hope I didn't see it in today's America, where peaceful protesters are tear gassed out of their legal right to protest so he could take a goddamn picture. That was awful.
Oh, that was wild.
That was terrible. I
And
really
a picture
thought
of
we were
him
going to have
holding
an
a
uprising.
Bible up in front of a church. Like, can we
Embarrassing.
just acknowledge the bullshit that is? If you are an evangelical Christian and you think that that's okay or that that's reassuring, you need to reread some stuff.
Some passages.
Oh wait, religion.
If you dare
Religion, drink.
call yourself an American, you should
Drink.
fucking... Ah.
Such a funny photo.
Oh my god, it's the worst.
It's
do what I
upside
want.
down. It is upside down, for God's fucking sake.
Is it? I didn't even
Right.
notice that. That's terrible.
He held it up upside down, so straight faced. Like, how is that showing that he cares and that he loves God and that he's
So who's worse,
I think.
Biden
Hold
or
on,
Trump?
hold on. I have to make this one point real quick before we move past this. The greatest moment of Trump's original 2015 campaign was, or 2016, the election year, was when he went to Liberty University and read a Bible verse, and he said 2 Corinthians, and everyone in the audience. Anyone that's ever read the Bible knows that you say 2 Corinthians. Like, anyone that's ever been to church knows 2nd whatever. Like, that's
I don't
just
know,
how
man. I've been to church and I don't think I remember that.
Okay, but if you don't know, I would call you out for your bullshit if you tried to read the Bible in a campaign speech. You don't believe in that shit, so I wouldn't blame you if you mispronounced the Bible. Trump was at a Christian college and tried to read the Bible, and he said 2 Corinthians something and read the fucking verse, and he stumbled through it because he clearly had never read it before, and he clearly just asked one of his aides, hey, find a Bible verse that talks about something Republican. And they found one.
The one that all the girls like. Love is sting, love is whatever.
All right, I got one for you. All right, if Jesus was alive today, he'd be a Democrat, Republican, Socialist, or Capitalist. Where would he stand?
I have a very solid argument here.
All right, let's hear it.
Go in 10 seconds because I'll give a short answer.
Okay.
Let's go. If Jesus Christ was alive today, based off of the writings in the Bible, he would be an anarcho-communist because he would not believe in government. He never really did. He said, give to Caesar that which is Caesar's. But other than that, he ignored the existence of government. He would be an anarcho-communist. He would be leading people to be what are borders? Fuck that shit. Let's just share and be happy. Rebecca, go.
So a bunch of hippies. I like it.
Yes.
I personally think that I don't want to say he would be what we would consider a Democrat, but I feel like he definitely would be more socialistic than we give him credit for. I
give him a lot of credit for being a socialist, so...
Well, I should say most Christians, at least that are in my circle, they sit there and say that Jesus is Republican, and he is the furthest from
Ridiculous.
Republican. I'm
Bunch
like,
of Christians topped in the Republican Party. It doesn't make them any less of taking advantage of people than any other fucking party out there.
yeah, he
All
was not fiscally conservative. He was not socially conservative. He was
not at all.
everything that he did was
Friends
so
with
liberal.
prostitutes and whores and shit. Like, he didn't give a
Exactly.
shit. Like, yo, I got this water. You want some wine? Fucking, I got like 12 fish. I'm gonna feed 500 people with it. You watch me. I'm gonna do it. He's like
he
the
didn't
most
sit there and say, "Oh, do you
successful
have healthcare?"
socialist
No,
that has
I'm not
ever
gonna do it.
existed.
All right, hold up. We got a drink because we mentioned taxes. Give to Caesar that which is Caesar's.
All right. But yo, he was like the most successful socialist around. This guy, I'm telling you.
So I think that the most important part of libertarianism. Now, this is a fairly new revelation. If you watched any of my more recent episodes, I talk about this. There's a difference between libertarian policy and libertarian philosophy, and the philosophy of libertarianism is very much embodied within the message of Jesus Christ and the Tao Te Ching and Buddha.
You know,
that was
and
insane, David. So you haven't posted that one yet.
Explain yourself.
It's in a lot of them. So the basic philosophy of libertarianism, let's go, is live and let live, right? We are all about being understanding of other people while still sticking up for what we believe in. Larry Sharp says it really great when he says you can be as liberal or conservative as you would like, as long as you're not forcing your ideas on other people. Within religion, we learn a great philosophy as evangelicals, as when we're trying to spread the message of a religion. We learn that you can't force anyone into it. You can't logic anyone into it. Their heart has to change. And I think it's the same way with libertarianism. Their heart has to change to try to understand that there's a difference between immoral and illegal, and that you have to go a different way than through laws and through force if you want to change people's minds and get them to vote libertarian, to interact with the LP or any third party or anything political that promotes freedom. You need people to understand that you can't law or logic people into anything, really.
That's why I'm pro-choice.
Can I just make a point?
Go for it.
Same could be said for every other religion, though. Like Democrat.
To be fair,
Republican.
I said at the beginning. I said at the beginning that it's embodied within the teachings of Jesus, the Tao Te Ching, and the Buddhist and Hindu religions. All of those encompass the same philosophy of love thy neighbor and love yourself. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. All of those religions encompass those philosophies, and that is libertarianism in a nutshell.
You know, I do like how you tied the live and let live into the Jesus philosophy, because it does make a lot of sense. He doesn't want, as the Bible says, he doesn't want people who are lukewarm. He doesn't want people who are lukecold. He wants people that are in it because they're actually in it. That makes sense, especially with libertarianism. Like, it doesn't matter which way you are, as long as you allow other people to be free to make their own decisions. That makes sense. But when it comes to social issues, he does believe that we should, as a community, all help those who cannot help themselves, which I feel like gets lost in the libertarian philosophy at times. You know, like, the free market is great and all, but an uninhibited free market does leave some people behind. And, I think that, I don't want to bang on libertarian philosophy because I like it, but I just feel like socialism in certain aspects can help those who cannot help themselves. Like liberal or libertarianism is a philosophy, just like the Democratic Party has their philosophy, the Republican Party has their philosophy. But in terms of economic systems to work our society around, I don't think there's anything that necessarily says that the libertarians have to have an entirely free market. I think that there can be government systems, like schools and roads and things we do already, but expanded to help those who are not able to help themselves, not able to pull themselves up by their bootstraps, the people that capitalism regularly neglects. And I think that does have a place in libertarian philosophy, and I think that gets missed out. That gets missed a lot. I'd like to hear your opinion on that.
Are any of you familiar with the concept of rubber rooming within education or business?
No.
Okay, so rubber rooms are where someone, either by union or some other form of control, someone is forced into maintaining a contract with their employer, so they can't really fire them. But they are so detrimental to the productivity of the people around them, whether that be they are not good teachers, they're just like showing videos, or they work in a factory and they're just like, they drive people's energy down because they're just terrible people. They will put them in a room and pay them the same salary to just exist because they, and play video games, play poker, whatever the fuck they want to do, watch Netflix. No one gives a shit because they are better. They're worth more money in that room just getting paid their same salary to not do anything, because the people on the assembly line or in the classes will perform better under someone else. And it's worth the money to just get rid of them. And not to say that these people are completely worthless, because honestly, I've met people that have these jobs. Some of them are awesome. But I think society just has sometimes people like that, where sometimes it is just beneficial to, under Andrew Yang's plan, give them a UBI where they can, just kind of exist happily and not clog up the workforce and do shitty jobs and drive down quality of labor and productivity.
Well, that's an interesting concept. I mean, I have a interesting belief. I think it's interesting that certain people don't have free will. Certain words just appeal to them and they go in that direction. Like people who think for some reason that Trump is always right on everything, no matter what.
These are people that join cults.
Well, yes, you're right. That is some group think, but I think that applies to a lot more people across society than people are willing to admit.
Some people would argue that the Libertarian Party is a cult.
Yes, but if it's a cult,
I don't know what you're talking about. There's way too much fighting.
Yeah, right?
No, but they don't fight like this inside of cults.
It's not a very effective cult. But, I'm
Tulsi Gabbard ran a much more effective cult than Nick Sarwark or Joseph Bishop Henchman.
Yeah, we don't have a very charismatic leader. I wish we had someone. I wish we were like a cult. At least we'd be effective.
Dave Smith 2024.
I wish
JK.
we were a cult. Oh, man. Well, I just I have trouble believing that people can hear the words coming out of this person's mouth, see him speaking, and then believe that for some reason he's telling the truth. It's beyond reason for me. So I have to think that some people simply just don't have free will, and they're always going to be subjected to being able to be manipulated by the people that use the correct words to activate them to do that shit.
Buzzword.
So here's the problem with people that grew up 20 to 30 years before you and me, and actually all of us on this screen right now. They grew up in the years of people like Walter Cronkite, where the news was something that you could trust 98% of the time. Sometimes they fucked up with like some super government conspiracies, maybe like, JFK, and we can talk about where those people might have lied to the American people, CIA bullshit and stuff like that. But for the most part,
MK Ultra, man.
Was
Waco.
Right. So there's individual cases, but for the most part back then, news, you could trust it. And now you can't. You have to
now it's
watch
entertainment.
Now it's entertainment. Now it's all about clickbait. It's all about bullshit. They are lying to people left and right on mainstream media, and these people watch Fox News or CNN or MSNBC the same way they used to, with all of these amazing, unbiased, perfect in their eyes newscasters who've been replaced by younger people and are shoveling bullshit into their brains day in and day out. And it's so difficult to rewire. We're never going to rewire these people. We just have to be able to show them a different form of news.
If you use reason, you would think that just maybe this person might be bullshitting you. Really. Seriously, let me open up Fox News. I want to see something here. I want to see what sort of sensationalized shit they're trying to get away with. Because,
guys, I'm a hop off.
All right.
I'm gonna go to bed.
All right, man.
I've had a lot of fun with you guys.
Happy New Year, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year.
Talking to you soon, dude.
We'll talk later.
All right. All right, so let's see what kind of sensationalized bullshit they come up with. Because
it's not that I can get the same quality of news from TikTok or Facebook than I can
probably higher quality.
Sometimes it's you get actual local news. You can get local news stations actually saying what's happening in their cities instead of Fox News saying what's happening in Chicago when they're not even fucking there. How do you sit there and be like, oh, this is happening in Chicago? It's do you have anybody on the ground there? No, you're just getting all this secondhand. You're just getting this, oh, this is what you think is happening. Then you don't fucking know. So shut up.
Yeah, it's funny actually. Did you just go on my screen?
So here's what. No, I'm on my screen.
Oh, because on my screen I have this up.
Yep. So this is what Fox News is peddling right now. Progressives pressure AOC and Squad. Fuck out of here. Get the fuck out, you paywall piece of shit. Okay.
Scroll down a little bit. I can't read the rest of that.
I see what you're looking at.
Force House speakers to hand on key issue. I mean, honestly, okay. This is not the worst scroll I've ever taken through Fox News. This is
I was just gonna say that. This is not awful. It's not the best. So they want to do something called #ForceTheVote.
Have you not seen this yet?
Nah, I don't have Twitter, remember?
Okay, so #ForceTheVote is about forcing. Well, it's actually kind of taken off for two different reasons: forcing the vote on the $2,000 stimulus checks, as well as forcing the vote on Medicare for all. the ones in the Senate. The second one is in the House. And how they want to do this is they want AOC, specifically in the House, to say she will not support Pelosi's reelection for Speaker of the House unless
Oh, please. Let's get rid of her.
the vote. Unless they force the vote on Medicare for all, they need to put that through before New Year, which obviously they didn't. So AOC is supposed to hold up her end of the bargain here, which I don't think she has, or I don't think she's going to. We'll see. We shall see.
You
I'm
know,
sorry if I'm tripping people out with the screens. I'm not very good at this stuff.
oh, dude, it's all good. I'm first timer here, man. I hope I'm doing all right.
Okay, that one's not me. That's Rebecca. Blame her for if it's tripping you out now. Hey, look,
But
there's a
you know
bus.
that's actually not a fucking bad scroll through Fox News today. But I think my point still stands. Where you can look. I'm trying to think of any news stories I can point out at the moment. Georgia turnout data gives early look. Turnout to top Dems early voting advantage. So what they're trying to say with this article is that basically the Democrats are going to have an advantage, but the Republicans will ultimately win the Georgia state runoff election. And I have a lot of trouble believing that they will. I really do.
That is
All the swing.
bullshit.
There's no way. There's absolutely no way, especially with McConnell fucking around. Like, granted, he did the second best thing he could have done by delaying the vote for the $2,000 check as long as he can. That's the second best thing. The best thing he could have done was to just altogether vote on the bill and let that shake out however it shakes out. But there's no chance. There's no chance with the way things are going right now that the Republicans are going to be able to hold the Senate. It's going to be. I could see it being a 50-50. If it's a 50-50, I can't imagine much is going to get through the Senate come 2021. At least for a bit.
Yeah. I can't help but agree with you there. Mitch McConnell. So I tweeted out, I know neither of you actually really interact on Twitter, but I tweeted out that I don't understand why this is the hill Mitch McConnell is choosing to murder the GOP on.
Right? I don't get it. It's so ridiculous. Trump agrees with it. The Democrats are backing him. Fucking send it. You get to pay $2,000.
Right.
And you can claim responsibility for it because, like, the president is in office. He's a Republican. You're the one running the Senate. You're the fucking gatekeeper. You could claim total credit for it and try to win the Georgia state runoffs on that.
Oh, wait.
And you're just throwing it in the toilet. Yeah, the stimulus. Oh, right. But he could claim total credit for it and, like, have a much better chance at winning. But right now, it's so slim, man.
Yeah, the problem for everyone involved with that race is that no one cares about the candidates that are running. They care about the overarching issues, such as marijuana decriminalization, the stimulus bills, maybe stacking the House. All they care about is the Senate majority. None of the four candidates, right or left, Republican or Democrat, no one gives a fuck about any of them. No one. Andrew Yang moved to Georgia to campaign for two Democrats, and he's barely mentioned their names at all because no one cares about the candidates. They care about marijuana decriminalization, the stimulus bill, nothing else. They don't care about the candidates at all.
I mean, yeah, but that's the big race that's gonna determine the Senate too. Is the other thing. Who controls the Senate for the next 2 years?
Now we have
It's a
another
big thing.
Congress election in Arizona. I need to double check that information.
Kicked the bucket, right?
Somebody just
died.
passed away due to COVID. So the 2020 election is not over. We're an hour and a half into 2021, and we're still talking about the 2020 election, y'all.
How
Fuck
fucked is
this
that?
shit.
Oh, by the way,
We've talked about 3 different parts of the 2020 election.
Well,
Kitty, I love Kitty.
She wanted to join. She won't leave me alone.
Cats are always welcome on the live stream.
Awesome.
Cats and dogs are always welcome on the live stream. Kids are highly discouraged due to safety protocol. So children under the age of 18. However, alcohol and legal consumption of cannabis is highly
Should I go out to the car and get some of yours?
Well,
you should definitely smoke some weed.
Except I have nothing
come
to smoke
here.
it with.
Dude, come on now. You got a can? You got a fucking fruit lying around?
Facts. Do you have
That's
any
never
apples,
stopped a good
bananas, or
stoner,
cans of
man.
soda?
Go on, yeah, take an orange, hollow it out. Stab it with a pencil.
Or a 2-liter.
Yeah, or...
No, not. You put it in like a pipe or something for me, David, and then maybe eventually you will get me to do the.
Okay, so we have Rebecca Fight Night and confirming live on the Fight for Liberty show, New Year's Eve special, that she will consume cannabis eventually.
I just assumed she was an avid consumer.
Nope, never done it in my life.
She's taken a hit of a spliff once, and it was barely a hit. She was like...
Alright, well, do you have weed on your person?
It's in the car.
You're under arrest.
In the
world. Because
so
she's
you
the
were
best
already
sister, and she went and got weed for me
weed
today.
in your life, and you're telling me that you're not gonna fucking take a little toke, one toke over the line? Not gonna happen?
I haven't done it. I told David.
Okay, maybe we shouldn't peer pressure people, right, Zach? Or sorry, Noah. This is a live and let live. We don't peer pressure people into recreational drug use here on this channel.
I'm just letting you know that
however,
you have my
in the near
full
future,
support should you decide to partake.
I will partake the same day that I go and get my tattoo.
Alright, that's fair.
Because y'all won't let me
which
drink.
should be the day that this...
You know,
That's
my
a fact,
girlfriend just got a tattoo kit.
No, according to my tattoo artist, I can smoke. I can't.
Maybe after you get the tattoo? I feel like if you smoke before, it would hurt more. And that rhymed.
It would. That's what my tattoo artist
smoke
told me.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah, smoke after.
Or during.
I'll get your tattoo. I'll go with... I mean, if that's a thing, but I don't doubt that.
Actually, David.
Yes.
Nikel, I just got Nikel a tattoo kit, and she could totally tattoo your sister.
That might be a long drive, but that we can discuss when we're not live.
All right. I'm getting a car out of it too.
Another rhyme.
Should we drink for that?
Well,
I am
we
out
should.
of wine. I'm actually out of wine. And I filled that cup.
Maybe that's just fine. And another rhyme.
Stop rhyming, damn you.
I can't, so I shan't. Okay, that one was on purpose. All right, guys, if you have been paying attention for the last 2 hours and 11 minutes, I thank you so much for watching. If you want to support the channel, go to patreon.com/fightforliberty. But we are going to sign off and continue this conversation in private because that's what needs to happen at the beginning of 2020. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
And 2 more episodes will be up shortly after for David's.
That is a fact.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, Sam Robb, who was here earlier, as well as Stacey Pressman, mayoral candidate for New York City on the Libertarian line in 2021.
Go out and vote.
She's awesome. He's awesome. Check those out. They will all be up by the time you wake up in the morning. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you, and we're out.
Happy New Year.